welcome to part one of the January yoga series. So this is going to be quite a fiery series of classes, slow but fiery, to get you motivated for the new year. So fiery doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be bonkers hard, crazy moves. Fiery is about the effort that you put in even whilst you're just sat on your mat. And we are going to start seated. So get yourselves into any comfortable seated position, whether it's cross-legged. If that doesn't suit you today, you can just have your legs out in front of you. And what are you going to need for this class, and really for every class that we're going to be doing? It's always advisable to have some of these yoga bricks. They're only £2 to £3 each, or if you don't have any of these or you can't get hold of them, just cushions, books, anything that can just lift you, can lift you away from the floor, so it gives you a little bit more support if you're not quite as flexible. And also something soft for your knees if you've got a bit of a dodgy knee, because we haven't been on knees just a little bit today. So a soft yoga block, again, these just a couple of pounds, or a blanket is always really good. Okay, so now you're seated, whether it's cross-legged or you've got your feet out in front of you, we're going to fire it up. And that means let's start by grounding down, feeling the sit bones in the floor, and working our way up through the body. As you push down into the floor with your sit bones, the next little area, the lower belly, maybe the lower back, start pulling that in just a little bit. And then maybe as you travel up your ribs, your chest will lift. And then rolling the shoulders up, back and down, and placing your hands anywhere comfortable. So I've got a little bit of tension going on in my core muscles as they're lifting me up. My shoulders are back and down. I'm pushing my sit bones in, and then the crown of my head is aiming for the ceiling. So something as simple as sitting here can be fired up. And just notice how you feel. You can close the eyes down if that's comfortable. And just breathe. So because we've put that tension in our bellies, it's difficult to do belly breathing here. So I just want you to do a couple more breaths with that tension on, belly pulled in a little, chest lifted. And you may feel like that breathing is quite high up. And now let the belly go. Let it be big and beautiful. And as you inhale, fill the belly. Big belly breaths. And I want you to visualise a little flame just sitting around the area of your belly button. And you're going to light that little flame. If it's a flame, it's already lit. But I'm looking over here because my husband is sat here. So if you hear some funny noises, it's because he's doing the class, but he wasn't brave enough to come on camera. So big belly breaths. You've got your little flame burning away. And it's only little at the moment, but these classes throughout January, what we call fanning the flame. We'll get that flame burning hotter and bigger and give you that confidence, that motivation, or whatever you need to start off this new year the right way. 2 more breaths. And then open the eyes if you've closed them. And we're going to take the hands behind and just start rolling the shoulders again. Up, back and down. So you are lifting the chest high, high to the ceiling. Big heart opener. Rolling the shoulders back so far, you're trying to get your shoulder blades to touch each other. Big breaths, and keeping the chest lifted. Start forward folding from your hip crease. You can roll your fingertips along the floor. Keep the chest lifted as long as you can. And once you hit that point where you can't go anymore with the shoulders back, then you can round your back. Let the arms go into any comfortable position and just fold. Wherever that is for you. The legs don't have to be crossed, they can be in any comfortable position. And fan the flame in your belly with those big belly breaths. 1 more breath. And then slowly rising up. Let's change the cross on the legs if they're crossed. If they're out, that's absolutely fine. You can stay where you are. And take the shoulders back and down. Lift the chest. Big front of the body stretch. Belly breathing if you can. So it's tempting to hold it all in and not let the belly go here, but we want to be able to expand into that belly. Imagine your belly is like the bellows, and they're really fanning every time you breathe in and out. And start folding forward from that heap crease. What's a heap crease? Hip crease. And keep the shoulders back for as long as you can. So that's about here for me with the shoulders back. But then as soon as I let the shoulders come forward, rounding my back. And then what we're doing here is we're just stretching out the hip on the other side. Maybe you can feel it elsewhere in your body, but as always today, you don't go anywhere near pain. If you feel pain, just edge away from it. Never ever being in any pain. You modify as much as you need to. And then let's come back up. And let's roll over onto our hands and knees. Let's get moving a little. So we're going to start off by tucking the toes, dropping the belly and lifting the tailbone. And then notice where your shoulders are. We're not lifting the head right back and compressing the back of the neck, but you can lift your chin a little. So if you've got any pain in your lower back, just take the arch out a little. You can flatten the toes, but notice where your shoulders are and take them back. Take your shoulders back like you're a turtle, popping your head forward out for your shoulders. And if you're not sure what that means, try rolling the shoulders forward, and then you'll see that you can take them back, right back, right back, right back, and breathe. Fill the belly. And now flattening your feet so your toenails are on the floor. Push into those toenails, into the knees, into the heel and hand, and round your back, let your head go. And breathe. With every exhale, rounding your back even more. You're curving that spine as much as it can go. And tucking the toes. Dropping the belly, lifting the tailbone, roll the shoulders back. Keep the arms as straight as they will go, as long as they're not in any pain. And breathe. Fill the belly with that breath. And the last time, tops of the toenails, pushing down with the feet, the shins, the knees, the hands, and round, round, round. You don't have to let the head fall if it's sore in the neck. You can lift the head a little and gaze to the floor. Whatever feels good for you. And then tucking the toes, keeping the legs bent a little as we push back into that first downward dog. And it can be quite a loose pose at first. The arms can move about, the shoulders can move about, the knees, the hip joints, the ankles, just moving through the body. Just for a couple more breaths before we start to strengthen through the downward dog. Belly breaths. And then start straightening the legs if that's comfortable. You can always keep a bend if you're feeling tight across the backs of those legs. Push into the whole hand. Straightening the arms again if it's comfortable. Rolling the elbows towards each other, and maybe you can lift your bum a little higher and drop your chest a little more. Strong downward dog. And as you push back, taking the heels towards the floor, maybe lift the toes off the floor and give them a wiggle. Send the heels back and lift the toes. And then you're going to either tiptoe your feet to the front of the mat or step in the right foot forward and then the left foot forward. Forward fold. Start off with a little bend in the legs and let the head go. You can always use blocks for your hands here. And if it's comfortable, you can start to clasp your hands behind your back and notice what your shoulders are doing. If you can, roll the shoulders back and down. Make the fingers strong. And maybe start to straighten your legs if your hamstrings are okay with that. As you lift your bum to the ceiling, roll the shoulders back, lift the bum, roll the shoulders back. And I'm just gently pulling on my fingers to get an even bigger shoulder stretch. If that's not for you, you just stay where you were to start with your hands on the blocks. Wherever you are, though, you're breathing. And then just release the hands down if they've been behind you. And as we stand up here, we're going to do so with strength. Start tensing your glutes, your butt cheeks. Imagine you're squeezing your inner thighs on the imaginary block. You're really pushing your feet down, and then you can come up. Imagine you've got that block between your thighs, your glutes are tight to support you as you come up. Because if we don't keep everything active, that's when we can start to hurt our lower backs. Okay, we're just going to start a little series of flows, and we'll add on each time and see how we go. So have your blocks at the front of your mat if they aren't already, or have those books or cushions handy at the front of the mat. Okay, let's start by taking a big inhale, rising up, strong legs, and swan dive down. Halfway lift, you can put your hands on the blocks if you wish, as you lift the chest and lift the bum. If you don't have blocks, hands can be on your thighs, or of course, if you're looking for the more advanced option, hands can be on the floor. And then as you exhale, take that right foot back, drop in the right knee, and bring the blocks either side of that left foot. If you don't have them, hands on cushions or on the floor. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest, squeeze the glutes as we take a big heart open pose here. Can be strong on those thighs. And as you exhale, straighten that front leg and take a forward fold over that leg. And inhale, rise back up, shoulders back. And then exhale, move the blocks, hands on the floor, plank. You can drop your knees if you need, or lower to the floor through a chaturanga, elbows in tight, all the way down. Roll the shoulders back, elbows in, cobra, gentle lift, belly's on the floor for the first one. And then pushing up into your downward dog. And taking a few breaths here. Notice how this downward dog feels compared to the first one. As you start strengthening through the arms. Big strong line from the palms of your hands to the inner armpit. And then your feet. A big strong line from the contact of the floor right up to that hip bone. Lifting the bum into the air. Lift the right foot into the air. And step the right foot to the right hand, drop the left knee, taking your blocks. Roll the shoulders, lift the chest, inhale. And then take that forward fold, straightening through the front leg, exhale. Coming forward again, roll the shoulders back, inhale. This is where you can pad under your knees if you need. And then move the blocks, take your plank. Inhale here, and then lower down into your cobra. Roll the shoulders back. Push the pubic bone down the belly, the tops of the toes down, and then downward dog. And strengthen through that dog again. So the legs are active, the arms are active, but your belly is soft as you breathe, and allow it to expand. Every inhale, filling it like a balloon. The energy from that downward dog is fanning out from that belly button, from the centre of your body. And as you push back, sit the bum back, bend the knees, gazes forward, and then you can step or jump to the top of your mat, forward fold. Halfway lift, you can use the blocks if you need. Lift the bum, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, and take a forward fold. Squeeze that imaginary block, pull the glutes in as we stand up with strength. And hands to the heart, Sanastisi. And rise up. And forward fold. You can swan dive or bring the hands through the centre. Halfway lift, inhale. Right foot back. take the blocks, same sequence, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest, inhale. Exhale, taking it back, folding over that front thigh. Inhale, shoulders back. And then exhale, just move those blocks. Inhale, rise the arms up. And this may be where you want to stay. If your hips are okay, you can tuck the back toes. You can do this with your hands on the blocks as you very slowly lift the back knee off into a high lunge. Now it's really important here that you squeeze those glutes so that you're not leaning forward and you're keeping your back safe. Breathe. And tuck that tailbone under. Rather than being here, we are here. We're tucking the bum under, nearly there. And then bring the hands down, step back, plank. Inhale here. And this time, you're going to hold your chaturanga here. You can drop the knees if you need. Push back up into that press up. Lower down into your chaturanga. And then take your upward dog. We'll come all the way to the floor doing the cobra like we did at the beginning. And downward dog. And breathe. Filling the belly. Elbows rolling towards each other. Lifting the right foot. Stepping the right foot to the right hand, left knee down. Take your blocks, inhale. Really rolling those shoulders back, squeeze the glutes. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Exhale. Inhale, lift the arms. And exhale. Staying here or rising up. Tuck the bum under. I can't emphasize that enough. Back leg is strong. Wiggle the front toes. Make sure that you aren't pushing everything into those front toes. If it's too much on the shoulders, bring the hands into the heart. And breathe. This gets the heart rate going. Last breath. Take your plank, or you can drop the knees. Chaturanga. Again, you can drop the knees. Coming back up into the plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. Or you can have your knees down and take that cobra. Down dog. Breathe. Fill the bellies. We are adding on. Enjoy this downward dog rest pose, believe it or not. If it's too much, take a child's pose. Don't have to stay in the downward dog. But we are adding on. Take as many breaks as you need. Sit the bum back. Bend the knees, gazes forward. Step or jump to the top of your mat. Drop the head. Halfway lift. As you lift the bum, lift the chest. You can use the blocks if you wish. And a deeper forward fold. Tense those glutes, and that imaginary block is there to activate the legs as you rise up. And hands to the heart. Carrying on, rise up. And diving down. Halfway lift. And right foot back, drop the knee, blocks. Roll the shoulders back, inhale. And exhale, you don't have to use the blocks. And inhale forward. And exhale here. Inhale, rise up. And exhale here. Inhale, tuck the back toes and lift. Exhale, drop the back heel, warrior two. So just check that your back leg is super strong. Getting into your warrior two in any way that suits you if you didn't come into it from that high lunge. Strong arms, tucking the bum under. And we're going to take a reverse warrior, but we're going to take the right hand and place base, just around where your ribs are, so just above the bottom, just so you're wrapping all your hand around the ribs. And that's to support you. Just going to lift the left arm up into the air, and then taking a back bend with the support on those right ribs and hip, if you wish. Push strongly into the back foot and take a back bend. And we're doing this to stop the compression in this right side of the body, in the lower back, as we're almost pushing the hand up into the ribs and spreading them out, enabling us to take that back bend safely. Legs are strong. Last breath. And warrior two. And then dropping that elbow onto the thigh and bringing the arm over if it's comfortable. It can stay on your hip, whatever suits you. If you wish, you can bring the block to the outside of your left foot, as long as it doesn't cause your right armpit to drop down. We are twisting and lifting up through that right armpit and squeezing the glutes. And now drop your chest and you can lean forward and breathe. Squeeze the glutes. And turn onto the toes of the back foot. You can drop your right knee if your left hip doesn't like this, or you can rise straight back into your lunge. Squeeze the glutes. And you've got your blocks or books or cushions there if you need, as you bring your hands down to the floor, to cushions or a block. And then, if your hamstring is okay with this, you can start to straighten your front leg a little. Maybe peel the toes off of the floor. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. You're trying to arch your back to start with. And then you can fold and you can round your back into your forward fold. And breathe, feel your belly. Fan that flame, it's getting warmer now. And then coming forward, bending that left knee again, hands to the floor, step back into your plank. Inhale, chaturanga, hold, push up, the knees can be down, and hold. And any back bend that feels good for you. Roll the shoulders back. Down the dog. That was a tough little sequence, wasn't it? Wasn't it, Ian? He's nodding. Oh dear. See how this downward dog feels now. They get better and better each time, don't they? Lift the bum, melt the chest. And then lifting the right foot into the air. And stepping it through. Dropping the left knee, getting your blocks, cushions or books if you wish. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. You can even do it with your hands on your knee. And then forward fold. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. And exhale. And then rise up. And you can stay here, or you know what's coming. Squeeze those glutes as you tuck the back toes. High lunge. Not for as long. Inhale. Exhale, drop the back heel. Warrior two. And relax the shoulders. Squeeze the glutes. You're pushing into that back heel. Keeping the legs as strong as you can, activating them. And then placing that left hand now just around your waistline, where you can really help support your back, and lifting that right arm into the air. Only taking the back bend if it feels good for you. As you roll onto the outer edge of the back foot, really strong back leg. And it's a lift through the front of the body, through your right side, not a dump down as you take that back bend. If it's comfortable for you, really supporting yourself with that left hand. Gaze can be down or up, whatever feels good, but your breathing is compromised when you're in these back bends. So you have to try and inflate your bellies even harder. And then dropping that elbow onto the front thigh. Or You can place it on a block on the outside of your right foot, or you can bring your hands down, but don't let the left shoulder drop. Open that left shoulder up, and hand comes over. You can stay here with the elbow on the thigh and the hand on the hip. Do what's good for you. Strong legs. You're trying to push into the back foot as much as the front. And you're trying to breathe. Nearly there. And now you are going to let your chest drop and lean and reach forward. If it helps you, come onto the back toes. Reach as much as you can. And ready, high lunge. Shaking now. Hips have had enough, I think. Bring the hands to the blocks or the floor as you start to straighten through your front leg. Maybe you can peel your toes up. And let's start by activating the back. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. So you're almost trying to back bend in this pose. It's really hard. And then let it round. And breathe. Well done. Move the blocks. Hands either side of the front foot. Plank. Inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Press up. Last chaturanga, you can drop the knees. Any back bend, which may be a cobra or an up dog. And downward dog. Well done. Now we're going to do all that again, but we're going to move through it much quicker. We've just got one more little add-on to do. So let's bend the knees, gazes forward, step or jump to the top of your mat. Let your head go. Halfway lift, straightening the legs if it's comfortable, lifting the bum, lifting the chest, and deeper forward fold. Activate the thighs as you take a big stand, and then let the hands go. Last round, we're going to move through this one quicker. Inhale. And exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Right foot back, exhale. Roll the shoulders back, inhale. And stretch over the front leg, exhale. Roll the shoulders back, inhale. And tuck the back toes, lift up, high lunge, exhale. Inhale here. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, drop the back hand, lift the front, you can support your ribs. And exhale to extended warrior, into any position that feels good for you. And then inhale, reach, drop the right shoulder. And then exhale, hands to the floor, come onto the back toes. Last high lunge, inhale. Exhale, hands come back down. Inhale, straighten the front leg. And exhale, fold. Inhale, bending the front knee. Exhale, plank. Drop your knees. Grab your blocks. Step your right foot forward. Got to put this bit in before. This is your add-on now. So you can do this on your knee, and then you can swap knee to knee. Otherwise, you're going to tuck your left toes, you're going to come into a high lunge. And you'll still support yourselves on the blocks or on the floor. And it's going to look like this. You're going to inhale up, you're going to exhale, switch. You're going to inhale up, and you're going to exhale, switch. And inhale up, and exhale, switch. So when you're ready, this can be done on your knees. You can inhale up, and then you can exhale, swap. So whichever variation you want to do, let's do it together. Tucking the back toes or keeping the knee down. When you are ready, inhale up, and switch. And up, and switch. 8 more, and up. Fire building, and switch. Think of that flame in the center of your belly. Don't have to jump. You can step. Lost count, as I always do. 3 more. And this is getting bit breathless now. Well done, last one. And plank. Chaturanga, keep the energy going. Press up, knees can be down. Chaturanga. Back bend. And downward dog. Whew, well done. Certainly got the heart rate up there. Lift the right foot. Step it through to the right hand. Left knee comes down. Inhale, shoulders back, lift the chest. And exhale, fold over that front knee. And inhale, shoulders back. Exhale, high lunge. Inhale here. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended. Inhale, reach forward. And then exhale, totally forgotten where we're going from here. Oh, high lunge. And then bringing the hands to the floor or the blocks. Let's take that pyramid lunge. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knee. And exhale, plank. Drop the knees. Can we do another round of 8 of those lunges? Left foot forward this time. Using the blocks or not. Or cushions. Keeping the right knee down or not, it's up to you. Listen to your bodies. Wherever you are. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, switch. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, switch. 6 more. And 5. And 4. And exhale, switch. And inhale, rise for 3. Exhale. Inhale, 2. Exhale. Inhale, 1. And we are done. See what I did there? And set that plank. Got the knees if you need. Press up, elbows in. And push back up into your plank. And chaturanga. And up dog or cobra. And downward dog. Well done. Breathe here. That is your standing sequence virtually there. And big breaths. Bend the knees, gazes forward. Come to the top of your mat. Let your head go. Halfway lift. Really lifting the chest and the bum. Forward fold. Activate the thighs. Squeeze the glutes. Rise up. And hands to the heart. Okay, excuse me while I just blow my nose. Okay, so you need to have your block or cushion or nothing. We're doing half moon. Just to the right side of your mat, in front and to the right of your right foot, if you need that support. But for this half moon, I want you to bring your right foot into the centre of your mat. Taking your right hand down onto that block or onto the floor. Keep your gaze down and start pulling your belly in. And see if your left leg will just float off the floor. Now lifting through the heel of that left foot, toes are pointing down, and that can be a little bit juicy in the right hip. Just to start off with, pull your tummy in. If that's okay, you're going to start turning the left toes to the left, and that will open the hip. Keep the gaze down. If you can, roll the shoulders away from your ears and start to lift your left hand, gazes down. And only when you've got that balance, you can very slowly start turning your head to look at your left hand. Keep lifting those left toes, rolling the shoulders back and down away from the ears. And I know this really gets deep into that right hip. Now you're not just going to come down normally. As you start to release, you're going to step your left foot all the way over to the right and off the mat. And then sit yourself down onto the floor so that your right leg is still crossed over your left. And that means here, when you tuck your left foot back, we can come into a twist. So your right foot is on the floor, your right knee is up, and your left foot is tucked behind you. See if you can drop your right sit bone down. If you can't, just extend that left hip down. Wherever you are, you're turning into your right leg. If that's too much, because it can really compress the belly, just turn the other way. It doesn't matter as long as you twist. Sitting up nice and tall, shoulders back and down, and enjoying that twist. Pushing down through that right foot wherever you are. Really feel the ground underneath that right foot. Fan the flame in your belly as you let it pop out on the inhale. You're going to come straight back into your half moon on your right foot. So as you release your twist, push down into your right foot and hop straight back up into that half moon. Keep the gaze down for stability if you need, so it's exactly the same side that you were just doing. Roll the shoulders back and down. And maybe this time you want to bend your left foot and take hold with the left hand if you want the extended version. And breathe. And just because we can, let's take the right hand off the floor too. And then release. Oh, in fact, let's take a downward dog and just bend the knees this time and wiggle it out because that right hip has just had a bit of a batter in there. And let's see how that feels on the other side. Bringing yourselves to the top of your mat. Left foot is in the centre of the mat this time. Any support you need, over to the left. Bringing that left hand down onto the mat, onto your support, and just gently start to lift that right leg behind you. Toes pointing down to start with, so it's your right heel that's lifted, and that is tough in that left hip. It really gets you. So then when you start to turn your right toes out to the right and allow the hip to open, it releases some of that pressure in that left hip. Gaze is down for as long as you need to stabilise. Lifting the right arm if it's comfortable. Shoulders back and down away from the ears. And slowly, 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 you can turn your drishti, your gaze, to your right thumb. And if you close your right eye, can you see your thumb with your left eye without straining your neck? Last breath. And just as we did on the other side, dropping your right foot behind your left, all the way off the mat. Start bending that left leg and come to seated. So we're already set up for that twist, as you either twist into the left knee, if that's comfortable, or if it's too compressive, you can twist away. If your hips don't like it, you can just straighten out your right leg to take some of that pressure out. But push the left foot down. Really feel the ground underneath it. Fan the flame, let that breath, that prana, circulate around your belly. Igniting your gorgeous inner confidence. Allowing whatever intentions you have for the new year to really embed themselves in. And just as before, pushing into that left foot, straight up, into that half moon. Tummy's in for this. It really helps with the balance. The gaze being down helps with the balance. And if you wish to take the extended version, bending your right foot, taking hold of the right toes. You maybe want to keep the gaze down for that. And maybe lifting the left arm off the floor. One side is a lot harder than the other because one hip is stronger. And if you feel like it makes you spin, it's probably your weaker side. Oh, dearie me. Downward dog. And then sitting yourselves down onto your bottoms. Goodness knows how long I've been gabbing on for, but we've got one more little thing to do, which is our boat pose. We're going to do it a little bit differently today. You're going to bring your hands underneath your thighs. So underneath the outside, so that the backs of your hands are just on the inside of your knees. And before we even pick our feet up, notice that your shoulders have rounded forward. Maybe yours haven't, but naturally mine will have rounded forward. Roll your shoulders back. Lift your chest and feel how your core activates just by that simple move of shoulders back and chest lifted. Now push your knees into the backs of your hands and the backs of your hands into your knees, and that will activate so many muscles in this lower body. And if you can, start to lift the feet up into that boat pose. Shoulders back, chest lifted, squeeze onto those hands. It's like you're squeezing a block. Squeeze into the hands, hands squeeze into the knees. And breathe, don't forget to breathe for 10, 9, 8, squeeze harder, 7, 6, 5, squeeze, 4, 3, shoulders back and down, 2, 1 and a half, 1, half, and release. And then just to finish, because that's not enough core for one lesson, is it? We're just going to do a bit of a breathing flow with our boat pose, which will look like this. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. If that's too much for your back, you could do something like this. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You don't have to be in the boat pose. But in your own time, get yourselves ready. Let's do, I'm not going to tell you. Inhale, off we go, exhale. Shoulders back and down, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Hold here. It's still tough. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. And then rocking yourself forward. Okay, start rounding your back now. Tucking your tail under and rolling down onto your back slowly. So the whole of the lumbar spine, the lower spine, as you curl yourself down, touches the floor. So there's no pressure. And just enjoy that feeling. The feeling that you've created. That little flame that's grown bigger from the movement that you have done. Now's a good time to remind yourselves of any intention that you may have set for January. As you start to let go, allowing the breaths to become a little longer, a little deeper. Any thoughts enter your mind, just bring your focus back to that breath. How it feels. You can count it, feel every part of your body on the floor, anything to stop your mind wandering. And then just gently rolling over onto one side. And then bringing yourselves up to seated. Now obviously the class is finished now. If you want to stay laying down for longer, then please do. Or if you feel like you need any additional moves, like an extra twist, then take those. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me for the first class of 2021.